My name is David Harrison Greis. Welcome to the Greis Report, your unfiltered daily voice for truth. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the story that's on everybody's mind, and that's definitely going to be the Epstein debacle. So today, we had a historic moment where 8 of the Epstein victims came forward and told their side of the story, and they were actually telling us about what it feels like to be in this very public place where they have to kind of go through this trauma again and again and again every time somebody tells them that it's a hoax or denies it or comes after them for telling the truth. And this is going to be very important moving forward because I don't think they're going to step back anymore. I think this is where we're going to see the final push for the files to be released. These victims deserve justice. I don't know why we can't just accept what they say, but I want you to hear this in her own words. This is Haley Robson. She was one of the victims of the Epstein Island and of Epstein himself and Epstein's cohorts. I want you to actually hear her response to being asked by a reporter, how does it feel that Donald Trump and everybody else keeps saying it a hoax? So, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, this is Haley Robson. Please give her your full attention.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally to hear that?
Devastating.
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not. Please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us.
So now that you heard that from Haley Robson's own mouth, she's saying, please humanize us. And it feels like she's being gutted inside because Trump is denying it and everybody else is denying it. Now, why does she need to come out and say that? It's honestly because at this point in history, we are still at a place in our public discourse where we don't believe the victims. And that's extremely problematic because the victims in this circumstance are most definitely telling the truth. We have video after photograph of the island. We have document after document proving different things. We've seen in a very public court, in a very public trial, some of the evidence already. There is Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for all of the horrors that she committed. Why would we not believe the victims after all this time? And, this is a real issue because the people that are in the White House right now are still calling it a hoax. They're still denying that these women went through this. We need to move on. We need to move past this. We need to release the files so that they can get some closure when we can find some justice. Because big picture, why do we need a convicted felon in the White House? Oust the Mad King Donald Trump. So if you like what you're hearing tonight, please remember to like, subscribe, and down here we have an email address. Again, this email address is thegreisreport@gmail.com. That's thegreisreport@gmail.com. Please send us any leads, stories, requests, any videos or pictures that you might have, any firsthand accounts of your interactions with the ICE Gestapo. We're always happy to tell your story on air. And please do remember to subscribe. It does help us get our content out there more. So Politico is reporting that Rep. Barry Loudermilk of Georgia will be leading a new January 6th committee. So we all know what happened on January 6th. Donald Trump gave a speech that riled up all his sadistic followers, and they went and stormed the Capitol in a violent insurrection where we saw people getting hurt and people getting killed. This was a very, very toxic moment for the country because it represented the turn to a darker tide. And now we are all suffocating under that darker tide as it swallows us up whole. And now they want to revisit that moment in history and they want to rewrite it. This kind of revisionist history is the kind of thing that George Orwell warned us of in 1984. This is very dangerous. They want to come out and actually say that the evidence that we saw that was irrefutable and incontrovertible, that this actually happened, is not good enough. And they're going to use our own words back at us. So Representative Loudermilk, when he was actually asked about what new discoveries might be found through this new committee and how it would be different than the Democratic-led committee the first time, he said, the evidence is irrefutable that there was more politics than truth in that. More politics than truth? More politics in a cop getting his skull crushed than truth? Sorry, but if you were alive in the year 2020, you know exactly what happened. And by the very fact of you're trying to rewriting it, you're admitting to culpability. You are just pathetic, and you need to get a grip on your existence and your reality. Nobody is going to stand for this. We are going to download all the content. We are going to make sure that the correct information is published and that none of your lies get spun in the public truth. So now, the final story of the night. ABC 7 New York is reporting that Donald J. Trump is trying to interfere in an election here in New York City. So as per ABC 7, Trump is trying to offer our disgusting mayor, Eric Adams, a seat at his table in the White House among his convicted felonists, Donald Trump, to work for the Trump administration so that more votes are being casted for Cuomo than Mamdani because Trump is afraid of Mamdani. This is just another case of Trump trying to interfere in the work of the American public. And this represents just another step towards totalitarianism and authoritarianism. So this is David Harrison Greis. Thank you for joining the Resistance, for watching the Greis Report. Have a great night.